Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight on the Doppler Effect podcast, we welcome Mr. Ben Proctor of BPro Kennels all the way from Utah. Ben, thanks for being with us tonight. How are you doing?
Man, so good. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Well, thank you again for taking the time, especially tonight on our second go around. Hopefully, we don't make this feel like Groundhog Day, but after a little bit of a audio hang up, I'm glad we get to do this again. So thanks for taking the time. So what are things like down in Utah this week? How's your week looking?
Man, today, so the way that we kind of in batches. So this whole week is just getting stuff back from powder coat. So this is always an exciting week. Start to get stuff back, start to color on boxes, and start doing final assembly and getting them shipped out.
That's exciting. And again, for those that don't know, BPro Kennels makes pretty serious dog boxes. I mean, not just pretty serious dog boxes, some of the most highly rated and seriously customized dog boxes in the market. Like, tell us a little bit more about your story. I know about 10 years ago you started your own shop. Tell us how you went from young man to working in different shops to, hey, I'm going to do this full time.
Yeah, so started a handful of years ago with a fab shop, working in different fab shops, like you said. And then, probably about 10 years ago, went out on my own, started my own shop. We were basically just a job shop. We would do anything and everything from big structural steel one day to really high-end pharmaceutical grade stainless steel. We did a lot of aluminum. Just kind of started doing all sorts of different stuff. And I obviously had a bird dog and just had different plastic crates over the years, and decided to just take a stab at it and build my own. And it just kind of snowballed from there. We had a whole bunch of interest. The first one was pretty awful. It was pretty atrocious, to be honest. It was, I had some really cool, big vision for it. And then I was working on it over the summer, just here and there a little bit. We had a big hunting trip with a bunch of my buddies, and I kind of put it on the back burner until 3 or 4 days before we left, and I hurried up and scrambled and put it all together. And it was gigantic, huge, massive, it was way overkill. And so that was kind of the first one. Sold that one, done some local classified, and then kind of started to refine a little bit and build what I call my revision one, the one that looks the most like our current one. And just kind of from there, snowballed and moved to a trade show, and here we are today. That's all we do now. So I still have a couple legacy clients that I still do a little bit of work for, but basically this is all that we do.
Nice. So you mentioned you took the first one to or you went to some trade shows from the get-go. Like, is that how you started gaining traction? Was at trade shows, or how did you really start gaining traction with this?
Yeah, so I don't really know. It's kind of all muddy in the past. I'm trying to recall different memories, but I built the first one that was pretty cool looking, and I heard from just friends and family and people that I knew that was like, hey, you kind of got something here. Like, this is pretty cool. You should try to sell these. And I'm like, I don't know where I would even sell. Like, where do you go to sell dog boxes? Is there a market for it?
Sure.
Are you interested? Is this even a thing? And I remember I was listening to a podcast, and I don't remember which one it was, but they had just like a quick little 3-second little blurb about this trade show that was hosted by Pheasants Forever. And it was going to be in Omaha, and it was like, man, I think it was like 3 weeks from when this podcast was out. And there's probably no way, but let me just call him. So I call him up, and I call Luke over at Pheasants Forever, and I was like, hey, what are the chances that there's a booth available? He's like, we have a booth. There's one single booth that's available. It's all yours if you want it.
Nice.
And so mad dash. Everybody in the shop, everything's put on pause. We finished this one dog box. We built this display. It was just thrown together. Load everything in my trunk, drive out to Omaha. It's 17 hours. Set it all up, and we have a pretty good show. We were kind of tucked in the way far corner of the booth or in the show hall, and because we were like most traditional dog boxes, they're all just diamond plate aluminum,
right?
Stainless steel. They kind of look like a toolbox. And ours was powder coated, and it looked really cool. And it had lights on it, and nobody really knew what it was. And but this was before BPro Kennels was a name. It was all just BPro Welding. So I had my welding banners and stuff like that.
Sure.
And so half the people thought it was like a barbecue or a grill. And the other half knew what it was. So again, we were like in the far corner of the show hall. But just by doing that, we kind of just snowballed and got some traction, got some interest, and some different people in the industry started reaching out and saying, hey, I kind of want this built, I want this built. And we kind of started as more of like a custom dog box company. So people would reach out and say, hey, I have this harebrained idea and I can't find anybody that'll build it. So we would build it. And so we would build all sorts of just crazy, wacky, fun dog boxes. And then from there, we kind of honed it at basically 3 main models that fit most everybody's needs. And outside of that, then we still love doing custom builds. But that's kind of the story of how we got to where we are today.
Nice. And so you mentioned you kind of have your 3 base models, and those models have unique names, and there's a story attached or a deeper meaning behind those names. Can you go back into that for us a little bit?
Yeah. So from conception, the way that I like to do things or design it or build it was there's definitely easier ways to build this dog box that we make. We could just weld all the panels to the frame, get it powder coated, and call it good. But I really love the design and the styling of like old World War II aircrafts, where there's just 10 bajillion rivets. And they're all like in a perfect row, and they just look super, super good. And so early on, I knew that I was going to build them out of aluminum, which is what they make aircrafts out of.
Sure.
So I was like, let's make this and kind of pull a lot of design elements from these old World War II aircrafts. And so with that, I started to have some cool names. In fact, the very first name of my dog box was going to be the Tail Gunner.
Nice.
Because I thought that would be kind of fun. You know, in the old bombers, they'd have the tail gunner with 2 machine guns.
Sure.
And that was very similar to like our dog box, where you'd open it up and you'd have 2 dogs.
Right.
And some of the dogs are crazy. Like my short hairs, they were like little missiles. So it was like you open it up and you let these 2 little fur missiles out. And so like that'd be a really cool name. So the original name was the Tail Gunner. And sorry, that's our dishwasher going off.
Oh, you're all right. Ours sings at us too.
But yeah, that was our original name. And then shortly into it, we get a phone call from this random lawyer from Gunner Kennels.
Of course.
He was so nice. He was
Okay.
so cool. But he's just like, hey, heads up. I love what you guys are doing, but we actually own the name, the Tail Gunner. So I was like, all right, yeah, don't worry about it. I will happily change. I don't want any problems with you guys.
Don't want the smoke from them, huh?
Yeah, definitely not. Those guys are great, by the way. I have no problem with them. They build good stuff.
Definitely.
But yeah, so my original was called the Tail Gunner. And then when we knew that we had to change names, I tried to correlate and pick names that had meaning to the current model. So like our Havoc is a airplane that has a crew member of 3, or it has up to 3 members. So it's like our big 3 hull. So there's 3 people, 3 dogs. That's why we call it the Havoc. And then there's a plane called the Dauntless. And then there's a plane called the nickname to it is called the Sky Warden.
Okay.
It's the one that fits in the mid-sized Tacoma or Colorado or something like that. So yeah, we try to have fun names with them that have some meaning, that you can kind of go back to the earlier generations. And there's just something about that whole era of fabrication and design where it was very utilitarian, but yet they still pulled off some really kind of fun design elements and make them cool and unique.
So did you have a motivation or a inspiration as a young man that drew you to airplanes and to that style of engineering for any particular reason?
Not a whole lot, other than just little kids just love airplanes.
Yes.
And growing up, that was the cool era. It was either like the brand new like F-16s and things like that, or the old World War II airplanes. And I just remember being just a young kid. I just loved that generation, and I loved learning about World War II and the tanks and the airplanes and just all that fun stuff. And so that was always kind of in the back of my mind, that I always liked that kind of stuff. And when we decided to use that design element with all the rivets, it was like, this is perfect. Let's just kind of lean into that and make that part of our story. That's where we came from. And that's kind of the motivation for why we do things the way that we do.
Well, so it's very evident, especially to anybody that would own one of your boxes, or even just going on your website, that they're built to last. I mean, in the way you put all these rivets in it, you could almost say over-engineered. Like, this thing's going to last a lifetime. You know, these are heirloom quality dog boxes. And you also mentioned that you build them in phases. So talk a little bit about how the process works for you when you're working with a new customer from start to finish. Because I know right now it's you got to get on a waiting list to be a customer with you. Is that correct?
Yeah. So in the past, we were kind of just this revolving door. So basically the way that it would work in the past is you would just jump on our website, you'd order a dog box, and that would start the clock for us. And back then we would try to keep to about a 6 to 8 week lead time. And that was very manageable until you start to get busier and busier, and more people are interested in your stuff. And it just got to the point where it was almost too much logistics of always starting the process over again. And there's so many different projects at different stages. Is this one getting ready to get powder coated? Is this one coming back from powder coat? We need to order material for this one. If anything gets hung up, it just delays everything. So this year we decided we're going to go a different approach, and we're going to do these in kind of batches. So we can do the same amount of dog boxes in a year, but we're going to kind of phase it and do it in a more strategic way, where we order stuff every month and we just try to do X amount every month and try to stay on top of things, which is also really nice for us because we can predict things. We can know that we have a little bit of a longer lead time now, and that's just to build in so much extra buffer. We really only outsource 2 parts, and that is some of our laser cut parts, and then we outsource the powder coating. And both of them are fantastic vendors, but they have their own businesses as well.
Sure.
We need to be very respectful of them and their time frames, and they're very, very accommodating to us. If we have any issues, they always try to crowbar us into their schedule and get stuff in and out so that we can keep on track with our schedule. But we always want to be respectful of them and give them enough buffer so that if something happens on their end, that we're not messing up our schedule as well.
Sure.
So that's kind of the thought process with some of that batch ordering and manufacturing. And
has that helped kind of relieve some tension in your world, I imagine, this last year then?
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes it fun because, like, in the past, you were always either like, okay, I got to get to the shop and I got to weld these parts, and then I got to transition. I got to like put on my finish brain, and I got to like be super, super attention to detail, and I got to do this, and I got to talk on the phone, and I got to talk to this guy. And now it's a little bit more of like, okay, for this whole week, all we're doing is welding, and then that next week, all we're doing is doing stuff pre-powder coat, and then the whole next week, everything's a powder coat. So now we can start getting things ready for the next batch. And then the next week after that, stuff comes back from powder coat, and now we can do finish, final assembly and testing. And we like to do what's called a burn-in process, which is kind of a technical thing that a lot of guys in the tech industry will do. They do what's called a burn-in cycle. So like with us, with our lights, we like to leave the lights on for about a full day just to make sure none of those lights burn out. There's kind of a concept with lights and a lot of equipment where if it's going to fail, it'll fail quickly. And if it doesn't fail immediately, it'll likely last a good long time.
Sure.
The same thing with our lights. We don't want to build everything, package everything up, seal everything, ship it to you, and then you're like, hey, these lights don't work. So we're like, hey, let's just let the lights, they're LED lights. They're not going to burn out, but you can leave them on for a full day, overnight, leave them at the shop, just leave them turned on, and if we come back and they're all still lit up, okay, they're good to go. Let's put them on, and now we're good to go.
Nice. That extra attention to detail, I'm sure, is something that people really appreciate. And you mentioned that now over the years you've gotten to make some dog boxes for some really cool people, and I imagine you have your own community of people that are BPro fans at this point. Talk about what the community of people that buys of your client base. Talk about them and like why has that become important to you?
It's the craziest thing to just think back on, like, I mean, even a handful of years ago, to think that you would create a product that people not only buy, which is great, I'm super appreciative of that, but then on the flip side, you have these people that, some of them I've never met in person, and they're like the loudest cheerleaders for us.
That's awesome.
It's so humbling and so, it's just amazing that this community is so rallied around this community, and everybody wants to help each other. It's that whole idea of, like, there's plenty of the pie for everybody, and if everybody wins, that's a great thing. That we don't need to be jealous, we don't need to be tearing each other down. It's really humbling, and there's people that are now on their second or third dog box with us because their pack is growing, or they're transitioning to a different style, they're getting a different truck, they're getting more dogs, they're getting less dogs, whatever they're doing, and that's incredibly humbling when somebody says, hey, these aren't necessarily cheap, but I'm willing to purchase another one because I'm getting another dog and I need my dogs to be safe.
Well, and along with the safety aspect of this, you mentioned, Gunner Kennels, they reached out, they were really nice about it. And we kind of talked about this in the past where, there's different tiers of kennels, obviously, and some kennels are safety or crash rated, and you mentioned that, the crash rating, the third party testing, super expensive. I think everyone's going to understand that. But you also mentioned that the success rate you've had with your box or your box is pretty incredible. Like these things are stout and they're lasting a long time. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, just to back it up a little bit, with crash test rating, a lot of people get hung up on that, and rightfully so. When you're purchasing a dog box or a kennel, especially for some of these dogs are extremely expensive, and rightfully so. You want to protect them, and you don't want to throw money at a product that is going to fail and potentially cause injury or death. So rightfully so, people are concerned about crash test rating, but a lot of times it's a little bit of this, they get too hung up on what that means. And crash test rating basically just means you paid typically a lot of money to have a third party just say, yep, it's safe. And we'll probably get there eventually. That's one of our hopes and dreams, is to be able to accomplish that. But in a roundabout way, we can still go about kind of showcasing and showing off how strong ours is. We have this dog box that we built for a trade show. I think it was our second trade show that we went to. So that was about 5 years ago. And that dog box is, when we got it back, it didn't fit my use case. I have too many dogs, so I was just like, hey, this will just be what we call a loaner dog box. Anybody and everybody can borrow it. So we shipped that all over the country.
No kidding.
We gave it to guys, and they would travel all over the country. Legitimately, for the last 5 years, I've had that box in my possession for probably a couple of weeks.
That's awesome.
As soon as it comes back, it's just back out the door. And these guys have just beat the snot out of it. And that's what I tell them when I give it to them, or I help them load it in the back of their box or in the back of their truck. I'm like, no holds barred, beat the snot out of it. Don't care how this comes back. I want you to just put it through its paces. And it just comes back. It just keeps coming back. And so we've taken that now, and we're going to give it a really awesome retirement by just destroying it.
Yes.
Legitimately, we're going to just crush it, shoot it, everything you can imagine.
That sounds so fun.
And it's awesome. So over the last couple of weeks, we've just started to stack more and more weight on top of it. We've got some really cool, kind of exciting things coming up. We're going to hopefully try to find just some cheap truck that we can park on top of it.
Yes.
And we've got some other really kind of fun stuff. And then eventually we'll shoot it and just see how close we can get. I mean, I've never been around somebody that's actually shot at their truck. But it happens, right? worst case scenario, it happens every once in a while. Somebody gets a little bit too excited or something
Right.
happens and they shoot their truck.
These things happen.
Yeah, so we're going to showcase how close you can get before that's a problem. And I think people will be surprised how close you can get. And, you know, a standard 12 gauge bird load won't go through this.
Kat says she's got some tannerite she's willing to donate to the cause. So
we'll just come out to you guys and we'll let you guys blow it up.
Hey, there's plenty of space to blow shit up out here. So probably not quite as wide open as Utah, but yeah, no, that would be fun for sure. It's funny you mentioned that you're going to give it a good in retirement and beat the hell out of it, because I have thought it would be really fun to do my own or our own like independent third party crash test rating, you know, with like take the Gunner, take a Rufflin, take one of those shitty plastic kennels, and you know, and just take a bunch of them and really put them through the ringer, like, you know, rip them out of the bed of a truck, drop them off the top of a barn type of you know, like it just sounds like a really expensive process, but I don't, you know, one of these days we'll see. So that's awesome though. I'll look forward to seeing this when you guys do destroy the old the loaner box. As I think that's such a cool concept. Like, and I think that speaks a lot to you as a person. We spoke earlier, and I know we mentioned that, you know, the aspect of community is so humbling. But your background, you've done quite a bit of work within the community. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I'm like, what are you referring to?
So it's particularly your life in doing like coming up, and then like you went and did mission work for a couple years. Could fill us in on that a little bit.
Okay, so this isn't like a new concept, but it's inside our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. A lot of people call us Mormons, which is fine. It's encouraged that when you're, you know, when I was a kid, it was about 19. When you're 19, you're encouraged to go on a mission trip. And the way that works is you basically fill out a whole bunch of paperwork, kind of saying, you know, what you're willing to do, where you're willing to go, if you're willing to learn a language, just kind of things like that. And you submit it, and then they get back to you and say, hey, based on this packet that you sent, we think that we'd like to call you to go serve in, you know, Russia, which is where my brother-in-law served, or Brazil, which is where my dad and some of my brothers served. And so my packet came back and they said, hey, we think that you'd be a great fit to go serve down in Texas. And so it's for 2 years. You don't have any friends. You don't get a call home. At that time, you could email your parents once a week, and then you could call home twice a year, on Mother's Day and on Christmas.
Wow.
And it was pretty wild. And it was a huge kind of reality check when you first go, because you're just this young punk kid right out of high school. You think you know everything, and then you're just asked to just go forget about yourself and just go serve. And it doesn't matter, not necessarily trying to convert people to your religion, although that's part of the agenda. We want people to convert. But the main purpose is to just go and serve. Just forget about yourself, put yourself second, and just go serve the people. And so I was asked to go serve down in Texas. And so for 2 years, I just went around and knocked on people's doors and asked if they wanted to talk about Jesus. And if they didn't, then we'd ask if we can help with something. And a lot of times we'd end up doing yard work and shirt and tie, and which was awesome. It was so fun. And I think it's a huge impact. I wish that we could implement that more throughout our society, where we could just encourage people to, whether it's a church or you know, the Red Cross, just something like that, where it's like, hey, go, whether it's for a couple of weeks even, just go put yourself second, or just completely forget about yourself, just go serve people, and just to go experience what people have to deal with and their hardships, and just realize that you have it so much better than you think. And it just gave me a lot of humility and a lot of gratitude towards my parents for giving me everything that I didn't realize that they had given me. But then also you can just look around and, yeah, we don't have it that bad. Like, life's pretty good.
Oh, for sure. I think anybody that has ever done any sort of mission work that statement will resonate well with them, because it's a humbling experience. It's one of those things you just kind of you open your eyes and you realize, gosh, I have never had it as rough as these people I'm here to help have. And that really does make a big difference in someone's life, and it can shape the way they grow up. So doing things like that when you're a young person, like you said, 19 through 21, or that couple of years, that's a great age to do that. So did that mission work shape the way you are now, and the man you are, and the father you are, the parent you are? Like, I'm assuming that you've taken a lot from that experience into your everyday life.
Totally, absolutely. A lot of it just kind of bleeds into your life without even becoming like a conscious effort. Like, you're not thinking about how you can be a better person. Just you see other people struggling, and then they overcome their challenges, and you're like, I want to be more like that person. So you start to develop different things, and by no means am I perfect. I've got way more faults and flaws than anybody else. But I
right there with you.
Just try to be a better person every day, and you try to become just a good person.
Well, it was Tim Brown that told me on a podcast a while back that not only you, but you and your wife were some of the greatest people that he'd ever met in his life. And so I imagine having a great support system behind you has also helped you in your life and in your career. Is there anyone that you want to give a special shout out to that is a solid rock in your life?
Yeah, Tim's a great dude. We paid him about $3 to say good things about us. And I think that check actually bounced. So if you're hearing this, I'm sorry. We'll remedy that as quickly as we can. But no, he's right. My wife is a total rock star. She is the rock of this family and this household. She keeps everything together. She keeps everybody on time, everybody on track. She is everything. She is the actual boss of this entire operation.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome. So yeah, thanks Tim for the kind words.
Well, it's and I have found this just with Kat in the last couple months here. It's amazing to have someone that is a rock in your life and wants to support you and your goals and your dreams and what you do. So I would say congratulations to you for having found that in your wife. That's amazing, man. That's great.
Yeah,
so
likewise, getting a good spouse or a good partner behind you is everything. It can literally make or break your life, and when things aren't well, then it just makes things so much more difficult. When things are good, it's awesome. For sure.
Well, I wouldn't be doing this right if we didn't talk about bird dogs a little bit. So tell us about your dogs, and is there a particular dog that changed the kind of changed the tide for you a little bit and opened your eyes to hunting or anything like that?
Yeah, so Old Man Otto, he's my first bird dog. He turns 11 this year, maybe 10.
Oh 11. Wow!
So he's old man. He's getting ready to retire and live the good life.
Good for him.
He's still got a couple of good years, hopefully, in him. But yeah, so funny with him is when I was dating my wife, right before we were getting married or getting engaged, I knew that I wanted a dog. And so I was looking on the local classifieds for just bird dogs, and I didn't know a whole lot about different breeds and different breeders and anything like that. I just knew that I wanted a bird dog. And so I was doing a bunch of research. I really liked how the short hairs looked. I thought they were really cool. I thought they were tough looking. Doing some more research, kind of realized that was kind of the bird dog that I wanted, was like a pointing breed. And that was the kind of hunting that I think would be fun. And so I was looking for some local classifieds and trying to find a good dog. And actually, I didn't even know that if they were good or bad dogs. I thought all dogs were just good.
Sure.
I didn't realize that some of them just don't have that hunt in them. And so, anyways, so I found this dog. It was about 30 minutes. And so I text my wife. I was at work too, hey, I got an idea for it. Going to go on a date tonight, dress up. And so she thinks that I'm going to engage or propose to her, which is just this easiest part of my brain. And so I go and I pick her up, and we're driving up this just really pretty canyon, and I'm kind of dressed up a little bit. I got like a nice shirt on, and nice jeans, and I showered actually and used shampoo, so that was nice. So I was, she was really thinking that this was it. I asked her to marry me. So we drive up. We're driving down this little dirt road, and it's just actually really, really pretty place. And we pull into this random person's house, and she's like, "What the heck are we doing? Like, what is going on?" So we get out, and I go and shake this guy's hand, and my wife was with me at the time, and we're walking back to this guy's kennel, and all these dogs are going crazy, and just instantly she's like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding." And so we walk into this kennel, and there's all these little puppies, and so she got to pick up the dog.
Good call.
So she Otto, and it ended up being a fun story, and that's how we got our first bird dog, and that's how we got Otto. But that was kind of the origin. That was kind of the whole origin of how things got started. Is we had the bird dog, and some plastic crates just from the big box stores or whatever, and we just had this idea of like, hey, we got this bird dog. I want to build a really cool dog box for him. And so that was kind of the origin of all that as well. But we have Otto. He's a German short hair. And then we've got another one called Scout. She's a little female. She's awesome. She turns, I think, 5 this year.
Nice.
And then we just picked up this really cool breed. It's called the wire-haired Vizsla.
Okay.
From a breeder up in Canada, North Country Sporting Dogs. And she's just super, super fun. We named her Hoot. And
cool name.
She's just a fun dog. So we're excited to see how she does this next year.
Nice. And so I take it you're doing mostly upland hunting, or so a lot of grouse out there in Utah. Or do you guys do any traveling, or is most of your hunting public ground out in the mountains in Utah?
Yeah, great question. So mostly we do upland. I've done a couple waterfowl here and there. I'd love to get more into that. That's just a whole other world that you got to commit to, and I'm ready, but it's just trying to figure out the timing and scheduling and.
For sure.
But yeah, mostly upland. And then right where we're at, we have just this little hunting spot of really awesome bird hunting. We can do mountain grouse, which we can do blue grouse or ruffs. And then we've got a really great chucker population. And Utah used to be really good for pheasant. It hasn't been good for pheasants for a really long time, but there's still a handful of pheasants every once in a while. But mostly just those grouse and blue grouse and rough grouse and then chucker. And so we still go up to the Dakotas, Iowa. And, we went and saw Tim a couple years ago, which was fun. And then we usually do North and South Dakota every year and go chase the prairie grouse and pheasants up there.
Nice.
And we've done Minnesota before. But we try to do a couple trips every year.
Say it sounds like we need to get a group of people together to go chase some birds, because if you've been up to the Dakotas, Tim's right in this area, Jordan comes up to the Dakotas, the Dakotas aren't that far. We just need to go get after them, man. That'd be a good time.
We should. That'd be so fun.
Man, it'd be a blast for sure. So that's awesome. So, well, speaking of bird dogs, I've got a couple more questions for you if you're ready for some Doppler questions. How's that sound?
Yeah, let's shoot.
All right, let's see here. Whoops. Oh, I'm supposed to ask. I should ask you how you got into hunting. Like, were you hunting before you got your first bird dog?
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of a good story as well. So my grandpa on my dad's side was a government trapper. So he came back from World War II, and he got into trapping. And so he was a trapper down in southern Utah, and he mostly primarily focused on mountain lions and coyotes and stuff like that. But basically, it was the local ranchers. They would reach out and they would say, "Hey, we're having problems. We have this mountain lion that keeps attacking our our livestock." And so he would go and he would trap those mountain lions and get rid of them, and get rid of the nuisance mountain lions.
That's awesome.
Which was way cool.
Yeah.
Super cool stories about Grandpa being a trapper. So my dad, I don't think he really ever saw hunting as like something you do for fun. It was just that's what Grandpa does for work.
Right.
So growing up, we were never like anti-hunting or anything like that. It's just that's what Grandpa did for work, and so why would we go do that for vacation? So growing up, my parents, we took us all over to national parks and national forests and stuff like that. So we did a ton of camping and stuff like that. But hunting was never really, really part of it. And again, it was never like a negative thing. It was just, why would we go hunting? That's what Dad did for work.
Sure.
So as I got older, I was still pretty young, but I had some friends that their families were just hardcore into hunting. And so when you're little, you're having sleepovers at their house, and you get woken up and you're just getting put in the truck and you're going out bird hunting. And I had no idea, there's so many times where you're out bird hunting in the middle of October and you're in jeans and tennis shoes and like a light jacket. And you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing out here, but this is awesome. And
you were hooked.
I really grew to love bird hunting just from my friends taking us and their dad being a huge mentor that way. And then come to find out that my grandpa on my mom's side, who died before I was born, my mom's dad, not my grandpa, my mom's dad died before I was born. He was big into hunting as well. He had bird dogs. So my uncles on my mom's side have some really cool stories about him. And so hunting's been in our family for a long time. It just was never part of our childhood. And so growing up, as I got older, became an adult, got back from my mission trip, it was like, I want to do more hunting. And so that's why we got the bird dog, and it's just kind of been game over since then.
Yeah, it's easy to get hooked, isn't it?
Oh, it's the best. It's awesome.
So before I move on, to those people out there that may think that hunting might not be for them, or to those people that are on the fence, like what would you say to the person that you're trying to encourage to go out and give hunting a try?
Honestly, upland hunting is the easiest barrier to entry for hunting, in my opinion.
For sure.
There's very little that you need as far as gear or equipment or even know-how. There's so many people that are willing to take people out hunting. I try to take a handful of people every year that are new.
Nice.
I have one of my best childhood friends who's never been bird hunting rather. And I took him this last year, and he came back and his eyes were just wide as sockets. I didn't realize that your dog would do that, and your dog would point and go pick up the bird, and like he just didn't know any of that. And it's just such easy, low-hanging fruit to take new people hunting. It's not critical as far as like you don't have to be super, super quiet. We're not hunting elk and deer. A lot of the time it's like, who cares if you shoot anything? It's mostly just to see the dog working, and you're walking in these super pretty places, whether it's up in the mountains or out in the prairies. It's just a really low-hanging fruit to get into hunting. And like I said, if you don't hit anything, if you don't see anything, that's okay. That's part of hunting, and it's a great way to get into hunting. So if people are interested, if they're on the fence, take them bird hunting, and they'll get hooked, because it's a great way to just meditate. It's a great way to just unplug. It's a great way to connect with the land. It's a great way to connect with friends. It's a great way to meet new friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you get into the whole thing with it. So.
And I think you're 100% correct in saying that upland hunting is one of the entry level. There's the barrier isn't that great right there. Whereas if you're going, if you want to get into waterfowl or even deer or elk, like the amount of gear and the amount of time you have to invest, and there's so much to learn. The stakes are a lot higher in some forms of hunting. Whereas with upland, right, we're just walking around. We almost actively want to make noise. We're trying to get the birds to fly. So it is. That was how I started hunting as well, and I wouldn't change a thing, because it's addictive for sure. So
it really is, yeah.
Awesome. Hell yeah. Well, yeah. Let me pull these up here. We'll grab some questions from Doppler. Mix these up a little bit. Let's see.
Good evening, Ben. Thanks for being with us.
Here we go.
Ben, very important question. COVID-26 was just released, and it turns out it turns everyone into zombies. What's your strategy to survive the apocalypse?
Man, bringing the heat, bringing those tough questions. Okay, zombie apocalypse just breaks out. What's my strategy for surviving? I don't know if I would survive. I don't know if I would.
Me either. I'm screwed.
I'd be the guy that's like, how do we get to the gas station and get some Red Bull and get stuck in the freezer section, and I get bit and I'm dead.
I'm really praying that of all the apocalypses that, scenarios that happen, that the zombie apocalypse is not the one that comes up, because fortunately we live in a very rural area, but we'd be stranded for sure. So
Yeah.
but
This is the boss.
hey there, boss, how are you?
Hey, good. I was just out at a girls' night, so
Lucky
I
you.
put the kids to bed, so it was a great night.
Well, I'm Tyler. I've heard incredibly great things about you, not just from your husband. So Tim Brown also mentioned that Ben's wife was one of the finest women that he's ever known, like finest human beings that he's ever known. So
How much did you pay him for that?
I told him $3.
$3.
Check probably bounced.
Oh, I love it. Well, hi, and bye. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so the zombie apocalypse is, and we're all screwed. That sounds about right, Ben. Let's try another one.
Sure.
Okay, Ben, what is your weirdest talent, and can you give us a little demonstration?
Man, I don't know if I have any actual talent.
I don't know if I believe that.
I am very good at being annoying to my wife.
Hey,
And I don't know if I'm actually talented about anything, actually. I can recall some really stupid knowledge about things that don't matter. I'm really annoying to my wife and to my girls. But outside of that, I got nothing.
hey, it takes a certain level of talent to be annoying to the women in our lives and to keep them around. I think that's fair.
Keeps life interesting for them.
I was just going to say, I think his hidden talent is that he is like a walking encyclopedia.
You
So
got to have
the question
one.
he has the answer. He just knows. So there it is. I should just answer the questions for you.
Yeah, you should.
That's perfect. That's perfect. This one, you guys might both enjoy this one.
Ben, if you won the lottery tomorrow, what is the first thing you would buy?
He would buy a house in South Dakota.
Yeah.
For both of you, are you buying or are you building your dream house in South Dakota?
We'd probably buy a house, and then we would build a house, and then we would buy property, and then we'd buy a helicopter
There you go.
and a plane, and then we'd buy houses for all of our friends.
Hell yeah.
Buy lots of bird dogs, lots of shotguns.
Nice. Whereabouts in South Dakota, or is that's part of the zombie apocalypse strategy? You can't tell anybody where in South Dakota you're going to end up.
I don't know if there's a bad part. I mean, the nice thing with like the Dakotas, especially like South Dakota, is if you want to go hunt North Dakota, you're just a couple hours away. If you want to go hunt Iowa, you're just a couple hours away. South Dakota itself has just tons of good property and tons of good hunting grounds. So, I don't know. I tried really actively, like very hard to convince my wife that we should move to South Dakota when we moved to this house. So I was sending her all sorts of listings. Man, look at this property. Look at all the land that we can get, and it's so close to this area and so close to that area.
Well, you've still got time. So now let me ask you: is hunting a family affair at this point?
Not really.
Not really.
No, the girls don't dig it.
They haven't figured that how to enjoy it the way you do yet, huh?
They just haven't really like embraced that like meditation and that Zen. They're just so materialistic. They're just always chasing the next thing. They just haven't really realized that there's just so much peace. And no, they just don't. It's not their thing.
I've embraced. You say this.
What?
I have one thing in our living room. It's a redhead.
Yeah, it's a redhead duck.
I got that perfect.
Okay.
So you could kind of say I'm embracing the hunting.
All the birds that I have taxidermied, they're all in the basement. They're not allowed to be seen by the general population that visits the house.
Well, that's if it makes you feel better. Any taxidermied animals in this house right now all belong to Kat. So all the trophies here, they're all hers. She's blowing me out of the water in that case. So that's cool. Well, now how old are the girls? Are they?
The girls out and have Kat show her.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Kat would love to do that, I'm sure. She would be thrilled to take the young girls out hunting. So how old are your girls? It's not too late for them.
No, there's still time. We can bring them to the dark side.
Nice.
My oldest is 8, and then we have a 3-year-old. They're both girls. They're all about girl stuff though. They're all about cheerleading and gymnastics and volleyball and baby dolls, and pink and everything.
So I imagine they're not spending a whole lot of time at the shop with you then.
Every once in a while, when I can convince them that we'll stop at the gas station, get a treat, or that I'll tell them that they can drive the forklift or something like that, then I can get them to come to the shop or
Good play.
get them to go run the dogs with me. But I gotta bribe them pretty good. Same thing with the wife too. I gotta bribe her to.
You gotta know the tricks. That's for sure. So
It's true.
that's funny. All right, guys. I think I've got one more from Doppler here.
Okay, Ben, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Tell us something you're absolutely terrible at, but you still love to do anyway.
Man, how much time do we got? Something that I'm really terrible at. I don't know. What do you think?
Here's the thing about that.
I'm bad at everything.
No, you know how he's like a walking encyclopedia? He's just like naturally good at everything that drives me nuts because like growing up I did volleyball and I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm so good at volleyball. So our little 8-year-old, she started volleyball class and I'm like, I'm going to teach her. I'm going to be like super mom, right? No, he rolls in and is like acing me and smoking me at volleyball. And I'm like, you didn't even play. What?
They hate us because they're peanuts.
What's
Just-
happening? So I don't think there is anything you're not good at. I mean, I even took him on my birthday to get some bougie spa plays, and he was so nice, and he was a champ. He hung out, took one for the team.
Hey, that's a sign of a smart man right there. Sometimes it's more than just taking one for the team. That's like happy wife, happy life.
Amen.
He's in for
Yeah.
the long haul. I can tell. This is a smart man.
One thing I'm really bad at is I don't listen very good. I got terrible hearing. I've been in the medical shop for too long.
What was that?
So it drives her nuts that she's always having to yell across the house. But I just don't hear. I don't listen anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
It happens to the best of us, but what can we do, right? So
Yeah. Gotta persevere.
That's right. That's right. Well, guys, I don't want to keep you too much longer here. I know that you guys have the kids down and you just got back. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for taking the time tonight. Now I can confirm 100% that this has recorded the whole way through. We didn't have any interruptions. We're not going to have to do this again, but I would love to do this again. Like I mentioned last time, let's get on a panel, get the rest of the crew in, and I think it'd be a blast. We'll have a good time on a live event sometime.
That'd be a lot of fun.
So awesome. Well, hey, we will look forward to talking to you guys again soon. This has been the Doppler Effect Podcast. You guys have a great night, and thanks for being with us.